Hello there. Well, what a weekend. One set of stabbings in Manchester last night and another on Saturday evening in Dartford, both resulting in a death. And this isn't headline news, because it happens so often now that it's just part and parcel of life in the new UK. A new UK which those of us who've lived here as part of the integrated population for all our lives are just meant to suck up. Now, the first thing to say is that we hope the injured make a speedy and full recovery, and we send our condolences to the family and friends of the deceased. But how much longer are we meant to tolerate having to say that so frequently? Now, the allegations in Dartford are that the perpetrator, Ernestas Juska, murdered someone and then did an unspeakable act with her dead body. And in Manchester, the perpetrator is alleged to have murdered a woman and injured a 17-year-old girl and a 64-year-old man, both of whom were taken to hospital. Now, I bet I'm not the only one to be fed up to the back teeth of these constant stabbings across the country. What a horrifying place to live in the UK has become. And right now the government is concentrating its firepower on the far-right thuggery and misogyny. And it seems to not be too worried about knife crime. Or is the problem here what the establishment might be forced to face up to should our political masters decide to crack down on knife crime? And what would they do with knife crime offenders once the prison cells are chock-a-block with far-right social media commenters? But what on earth is driving this culture of knife crime? Where is it coming from? And I'm not sure the powers that be want to ask the right questions, let alone get told the right answers. You can bet your boots that if it was down to white skinhead soccer yobbos, there'd be no hanging about for any niceties. Doors would be taken off their hinges in the rush to shut it down. But we are instead shown images and videos online of youths cycling around with huge machetes. Sorry, technical issue again. Keep having these. Yeah. So we keep seeing these people cycling about with machetes on these videos with huge machetes and chasing each other in the street. For some of our unchallengeable youth, it's like open carry in the US. While someone deemed to be far right just for being in the vicinity of a riot can cause them some time in the clink, whether involved or not. What a land our kids are growing up in. Gone are the days of innocence. Gone are the days of the famous five and swallows and Amazons. It's now far safer for our children and grandchildren to be locked in their bedrooms rotting away in front of a PlayStation than it is for them to go outside or go to dance class or even to school. Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty will soon be the nearest our youngsters ever get to adventure. But our uniparty governments do nothing. And for one simple and glaring reason. They are absolutely terrified of being forced to unearth a truth that is the elephant in the room. And they are willing to throw the whole lot of us under the bus to skirt around that elephant. Anyway, rant over. What do you think? And please keep it clean. Here's a good one. Where are the women's marches? Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that women are being given a right ignoring at the moment, and all their rights that they've had over the last few years, they've won over the last few decades, are gradually being eroded. And I just find that unbelievable that women are actually taking this. They need to be careful. Once those rights are eroded away, they're going to have to fight hard to get them back. It's like the firearms crimes in the major cities of this country. It's always the same demographic. Well, yes, but we don't know the truth of the 2 cases over the weekend yet. But what we do know is that the establishment won't want to know. We know that. They're ignoring it. They don't want to know. Yeah, what is a woman, Jeff? We all know what a woman is. We all do. And they don't have meat and veg. That's the answer. Kia has security. We don't. Yes, and that security is going to get ever and ever tighter in the coming years and months. Have you seen what happened when a few MPs got a few nasty phone calls before that vote on the Gaza question? And they all voted, didn't they, after that? And they were all panicking. And they all wanted protection at home and in the office. They're the ones who are making these laws. They're the ones who are doing it. They're doing it to themselves, and they need to wake up. They won't have a problem arresting us. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what we're seeing all over the place, isn't it? Which is a pity, really, because, yeah, but the trouble is that for the law-abiding, generally, even those rioters that got rolled over, do you know what happened there? They actually went into court and apologised and said, I got it wrong. They were generally law-abiding people, most of them, and they got right rolled over, didn't they? I wonder what their briefs get told them. Oh, it'll be all right because it's a first offence. I wonder if they got told that. Once you give up your rights, you never get them back. That is so true. And I think we're handing over our rights over ourselves and over our freedom of expression and all the rest of it to this particular establishment. Well, it's not a particular establishment. Our establishment, a uniparty establishment. As I said this morning in a video, this didn't start with Keir Starmer. No, this has been going on for decades. It's all part of a process, and we're at the receiving end of that process. Will there be a new tipping point? Well, yeah, I'll leave that for you to decide. I couldn't possibly comment on a tipping point because that would be inciting, wouldn't it? But people are getting angry and angrier. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff that some of the other commenters, especially on GB News, are saying, and I'm wondering how much longer Ofcom will put up with it before they are forced to, by the government, by the establishment, to step in. But they're exercising their right to free speech, but they're a big lot of people, and they do have lawyers on hand. They put the... yeah, okay. Don't need that really, do we? I pressed the wrong one. Divide and conquer at its finest. Yeah, it's... I don't know where the divide is apart from between the integrated community and everybody else. And the integrated community is being forced into a corner. So, yeah. Dumbing down, and what better way than to import the Dumb and Dumber? Well, yes, I couldn't possibly comment on importing the Dumb and Dumber unless you're talking about a certain... Was it a cartoon or something? I can't remember. I don't watch cartoons these days. But, yeah, it was a comedy film with Jim Carrey. That's right, yeah. I might have seen that one, actually. Yeah. Hi, Jeff. I was in the middle of arranging a women's protest from our women's group on Facebook, but now all this throwing innocents in jail I have had to stand back and rethink. Now that is what they want us to do. Richard and I spend a lot of time on this channel discussing what we can and cannot say. And every video I do, like this, live, he is talking to my right ear and going stuff like that. Ooh, and he's getting, because he warns me if he thinks I'm getting too close to the knuckle. And we're having to be extremely careful these days. This is not a good situation to be in when you have to self-censor to the extent that we do now. Twitter is probably the last bastion of proper free speech, or maybe Rumble. But all the others are definitely under the establishment cosh. So you just have to be careful. Because the last thing you want to do, anything you say out of line will be grabbed and used. And if they don't think that you have the wherewithal to get your own solicitor or get legal advice, then you may well find yourself railroaded. That's the best way I can put it. If they don't think that you have the wherewithal to get a solicitor because you're locked up with no bail, and they don't think you can afford a solicitor or get independent legal advice other than the duty solicitor that's there, they may take advantage of you. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but there's a chance it could happen. Freedom is an illusion. Well, yeah, I'm not sure that freedom is what we make of it. Freedom is the freedom if you feel free and you're free to do as you please, then you're free. But calling it an illusion, I'm not sure. That's a deep philosophical argument. The only thing I would say is that human rights, as we understand them, they're not rights. The only human right you have is the one that you can enforce yourself 100%. If you rely on the law or the government or another set of people to enforce your human rights, that is all at their behest. It is at their whim that you have those human rights. So just bear that in mind. The only human right you have is any human right you can enforce yourself. This chat moves faster than my ex's DMs before the divorce. Yeah, it does move rather fast. I keep trying to grab these things as they go past, but it just shows you how engaged people are. I have looked into slowing it down. There is a way of doing it, but I haven't found it, so I'll have to search a bit deeper. But if I do slow the stream down, it means that by the time I finish the stream, there's still a load of comments that have yet to be read, and I won't see them at all. Not that I see many of them anyway, because they're flooding past so fast. But that is the weak point of it. Yeah. Okay, well, I've got something else coming up very shortly. So I've got to leave this one at quite a short stream. But at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, we have lost something in this country, seriously lost something. And as far as I'm concerned, it's basically a Christian belief. And that's all there is to it. You know. So, yeah, I'm afraid that's where we're going. And if we don't stick or rediscover ourselves as a nation, and that includes our Christian heritage, but it's not just a heritage, it's built in. It was always built in. And back in the 50s and 60s, it was much stronger than it is now. And as it's weakened, so has our country. I'll just leave that for you to ponder on. A lot of you won't take religion at all and will think it's of no relevance at all. But I think you'll find later on down the line that it is extremely relevant. So thanks very much, everyone, and I'll catch you later. We are thinking of doing something else a bit later, but I've got something in between. Okay? Yeah. And our love and best wishes to the victims of the weekend's events, shall I say. Thank you very much for watching.